Welcome to Mother Suckers Hero Hunters. As you can see, I managed to get exactly 777 power. It's not an easy thing to do. Sorry, it's been a while since I made a video. I didn't really like Anvil enough to even bother to make a video about him. I'm sorry. So we're going to look at Patriots. You can see mine are in pretty good shape as it is. This is a faction we've already done before, and a lot of people have a lot of these from quite some time. So we'll start with Mr. Surge, and I don't really know. I don't think I ever really used Surge for anything, but I think that he's probably not going to be a big part of this month. I mean, he's got his gravity well. He holds people in place. He can lift people up, and when he lifts them, to be honest, that is pretty devastating. If you can lift up an enemy hero, it pretty much messes them up. And Helping Hand is good, but you know, it's not very strong and it's random. So I mean, the main thing I like to do with him is maybe if you're experimenting, use him with Halo in PvP, and then when he gets his gravity well or lifts them up, it's actually doing that extra lightning rod damage. But I mean, look, his damage isn't terrible as a baseline. He is an energy hero. Does die pretty quickly from the Panzers and the dog faces that are out there. So in terms of my assessment of how much he's going to be used in this is, I think he'll be okay for bounty, but the thing is that you have a lot of energy heroes, right? So if you're hitting bios up, then he's not going to be your first team or second team, probably going to be on your third team, attacking any bios or other energies. So for bounty, not very good. For PvP, again, dies too easily, not very much use. He's a support hero, but it's too much of a niche usage, so I don't really think that you should spend too much time investing in Surge. Now the golden girl of the Patriots is Sapphire, and she is an extremely high damage hero, but just like all the energies, she dies really quickly. You can see her damage over 50,000, which is incredible, but she just can't take the hits. Her heal block is very useful. She goes invisible. All those things are pretty useful, but it's just that you cannot get her to stay alive. However, for this event, she's probably going to be one of the most important heroes that you have for both for bounty. For PvP, we're going to see if people find a way to protect her enough that she's actually useful. I was hoping that before Patriots month that she would get a bit of a buff. But look how quickly she takes down other heroes. Look at that, especially Bio. They just disappear. So she is one of the highest damage dealers in the game. If you can keep her alive, she can do good for you. But at the same time, I just don't see that happening. You face Panzer, you face Dogface, and Sapphire will die. Probably like most of this entire faction, except for probably Phalanx and maybe Fortress. They're all going to die very easily to mech DPS. So Sapphire, I think that the strategy with her is definitely control her, because you want to focus her damage and try to take out, if she's going to go down, you want to at least take a couple of heroes down with her, especially a couple of bios. It'd be really nice, as you can see there, Ifrit. If you could take out Ifrit or Drake, one of those key heroes, pretty easily, because usually when an opponent's team has Drake or Ifrit on them, once you take one of those down, if that's what they've got as their main protection, then they seem to crumble after that, especially Ifrit. I think when somebody expects to have Ifrit, expects to have a hero come back and be revived, and then you kill Ifrit, I think, especially first, I think I can just want to see the look on people's faces, because I know I get pissed off when my Ifrit dies first. So for bounty, extremely big. She's going to be the most important hero for bounty. You can see I'm trying to, if you look earlier, I'm trying to bar her up. For PvP, you're going to want to have her strong and find some good strategy, but likely she'll probably still die a lot. Now let's look at Fortress. He was dominant for a long time because his recharge skill just basically can destroy the other team. But just, again, like all energy heroes, he dies pretty quickly. He does have a lot of health. He's pretty resilient. They just gave him some modifications that that might help him a little bit more. But I think what I do find is that he does a lot of damage. So when I'm doing bounties, even if he's not the bonus hero, he's usually my energy cleanup. If there are bonus energy heroes, I'm sending in Fortress, and he's doing a few million damage at this level. So he's definitely going to be somebody that you're going to want to be looking at for bounty to have beefed up. I think he's going to be, other than Sapphire, he'll probably be the biggest damage dealer from energies. We still have yet to see what's happening with Kobold, but from energies, this is probably going to be one of your go-to people. In terms of strategy with him, I mean, a lot of people really, what they do is they just keep spamming the recharge skill. What I like about the setup I have here is that you've got Kane to throw packs on him and protect him. You've got Flatline to keep him alive, and you've got Drake to make him invisible. So when you are doing recharge, you want to protect yourself as much as possible, because it's really easy to interrupt it, right? If you break cover in front of him, you throw any kind of skill, most skills at him will interrupt. So recharge is good, but the other thing is, if the people don't attack you, as you can see here, recharge doesn't do anything. So I've got Fortress doing recharge, and it doesn't do any damage because he doesn't actually get hit. So I mean, there's some things around recharge that make it not as useful. Other than that, that's pretty much all he's good for. He does give the team a little bit of health as his platinum skill, which is helpful. A little bit of reduction in armor, in elemental damage for energy, but really that's what he's for. Recharge, spamming recharge over and over again until you get it to land and take the other team out. Sometimes for fun, I like to just take him out on his own and see what we can do. But for bounty, definitely pretty high on the list. And I think for PvP, you're going to see him being used quite a bit. So get him strong for PvP too. So now let's take a look at Phalanx. She was really good for a while, then not really useful, and now they've just given her a buff after the update. And by the way, I said she because it is a she. If you look at the description, it's a her. So she's really good at protecting herself. She's got a lot. Her health and armor is really big. So she's good at keeping herself alive. Team Mag Shield is good, but only at the beginning of a match if you're trying to protect someone from dying early. So she is good in that, and her power play does give people more health and more attack damage throughout the match as long as they're all alive. So I think she's probably got a little bit more value now. I really do think that for the purposes of this month, her real usage is going to be in PvP and not in bounty. So work on her, get her up there, because I think you're going to want to find a team that works with her. And we ended up winning this match, which I was a little bit surprised about, because as you know in these videos, most of the time, and I'm going to break this rule in the next one, but I try to use the featured hero. I would never really control Phalanx in most situations, but I wanted you to get a sense of what she's all about. And you know, I think that she is going to be somebody that people might find a way to make them work on some PvP teams. So she does die in this video, so I don't show you this right to the end, but we do end up winning this match, and she does a lot of protection. I look at the stats after. She's done tons of shielding and protection and all that, which is great. But overall, I just think that's the only place you're going to find a use for her is in PvP. So definitely work on her, but for bounty, don't count on her doing very much damage. Now we have Flatline, who when she came out completely changed everything, because although Gammon and Phoenix had revive capabilities, they were just really reviving themselves. Flatline came along and she started reviving other people, and like it or not, she changed PvP, because now heroes, when they're dead, are not really dead. So I often find teams with Flatline are pretty annoying. Try to kill her first. Her main skill is this stay with me, because it means that another hero, when they're about to die, they get a second chance, and they both heal quite a bit. So she gives some of her health to them, and then they both heal. Very useful. And then the more people that are dead, the faster she can revive them, the more health and attack damage she also gets. So Flatline, you know, she's easy to kill, but she's actually quite useful. I think you're going to see her a lot in PvP in the next month. Now in this case, I'm breaking my normal rule. Normally I use the featured hero, but I really wanted to win this match, and so I controlled Nightingale and then Odachi, and then I switched to Flatline at the end. But you get a sense that you're not really supposed to control Flatline. The only thing about her is that sometimes you need to control her because she's set up her revive skill, but she doesn't use it. And I go there, it's fully charged, and I have a dead hero, and she hasn't used it. So sometimes you want to switch to her and make sure that she's not sitting on that, especially if you have a dead hero. But other than that, I mean, for PvP, very useful as a support hero. Some people like to do double revive, Flatline, and Ifrit. I don't like to usually do that too much. I think to me it's hero hunters, not hero revivers or hero healers. I mean, in bounty she'll be mid-level. When she was first came out, she was very strong in that bounty. But I think in this case, she's not going to be that as useful in bounty as some of the other damage dealers that you have. But in PvP, she's probably the most important one that you're going to want to use, because she's used in meta teams anyways, whereas the other ones you kind of have to try to fit them in. So definitely high for PvP and medium for bounty. So the next video will be about Kobold. Hope this was helpful as you prepare for Patriots Faction Month. Like, subscribe, leave comments, and happy hunting.